Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for December 17th. December 17th is the 351st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 352nd in leap years, with 14 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is ta-ta. It may also be spelled as ta-ta. Ta-ta is an interjection or expression meaning goodbye, a familiar salutation in parting. And by familiar, this is a term you would use with people with whom you are familiar, not in a more formal situation. Heads of state probably don't say ta-ta when they take leave of a formal event, for example. Best I can tell, ta-ta was first seen in the 1820s and most likely comes to us from baby talk. Exploration of the word ta-ta was requested by YouTube viewer Lynn Creamer. Thanks, Lynn. And if you have a word you'd like us to look into, drop it in the comments. We'll add it to the list.
And with that, Admiral James O. Richardson was the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Fleet when he expressed concerns that while advanced bases like Guam and Hawaii were necessary, he felt that funding and work to prepare those bases for wartime use had been woefully deficient. He had some other concerns too, but he was particularly concerned that the Pacific Fleet would be a logical first target in the event of war with Japan. Apparently, people higher up the chain didn't like what he had to say. There's an old saying that the squeaky wheel gets the oil, but in this case, the squeaky wheel didn't get the oil, it got changed. It got replaced. Admiral Richardson was replaced by Navy 4-star Admiral Husband Edward Kimmel. Interesting name, Husband, isn't it? Apparently, Admiral Kimmel was a creature of habit, everything the same all the time, and this apparent utter predictability made him vulnerable. This extremely predictable behavior, this speciousness, can lend itself to vulnerability, just as it may have done to Admiral Kimmel when the Japanese in fact did decide to attack Pearl Harbor, as Admiral Richardson had predicted they might. And so it is that on December 17, 1941, that being the man in charge when the attack happened, 4-star Admiral Husband Edward Kimmel was relieved of his command of the U.S. Pacific Fleet as part of a shakeup of officers in the wake of the Pearl Harbor disaster and knocked down to a 2-star Rear Admiral position. He retired the following year. Folks, shake things up once in a while. Be dependable, but not too predictable. On December 17, 1969, the United States Air Force Project Blue Book officially closed its study of UFOs. You know, there sure are some unusual and unexplainable things that happen in the skies. Lights in the sky, flying in unexplainable ways, and more. On the other hand, where are the believable, sensible explanations? Where's the proof? I don't know. Seems to me like maybe Project Blue Book was created not so much to see what could be discovered or explained, but more to debunk, explain away, and quell any talk of UFOs, but that's just my opinion. Whatever their goal and purpose, the program was officially ended on December 17, 1969. Michael Jackson was visiting Paul and Linda McCartney in the early 1980s, Paul mentoring and Michael soaking up the benefit of Paul's experience. It was during this visit that they wrote and recorded the song Say, 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 and it was released later on in 1983. It became Jackson's 7th top 10 hit in a year, his 6th #1 single in the U.S. Released in October of that year, it sold over 1 million copies, qualifying it to be certified gold in December. It began its second week in the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 on December 17, 1984, where it remained for a total of 6 weeks, rolling into January of 1984. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That playlist lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page. It's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.